This special program reminder for our DirecTV viewers before we get started. Newsmax TV shows are moving to channel 366 effective the end of this week. We're already airing The Hardline and our full slate of Newsmax programs on JLTV on DirecTV channel 366. So we encourage you to tune in now on that channel and make the switch. That's DirecTV channel 366 for all your favorite Newsmax programs. Now let's get down to business.
We're not acting clearly. We're not talking clearly. We've got problems. If we don't get tough and if we don't get smart and fast, we're not going to have our country anymore. There will be nothing, absolutely nothing left.
It's a fight Donald Trump supporters are saying he didn't pick. But if one were to go back over his statements the last year or so, there would be plenty of meat on the bone to chew on regarding his comments about national security, the military, and foreign policy. So when 50 of the nation's top Republican security officials all went on record slamming Donald Trump as the individual who would be, quote, the most reckless president in American history, unquote, the man, quote, unwilling to separate truths from falsehoods, unquote, who has, quote, demonstrated repeatedly that he has little understanding of America's vital national interests and show, quote, no interest in educating himself, unquote, a new and critical gauntlet has been thrown down for the Republican challenger to pick up. He has. So have his followers. Now come the inevitable questions about the effect this will have on Trump's campaign and if it will sway more voters to abandon him before he gets his hands on the executive washroom codes. Your comments are necessary. Make it a conversation. Join us right now at 1-877-NEWSMAX, 1-877-639-7629. Welcome back the perfect opinionators on this topic. Former CIA analyst, former State Department advisor to John Bolton, Vice President of Policy and Programs at the Center for Security Policy, Fred Fleitz. Joined by former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Shillman Sr Fellow at the Investigative Project on Terrorism, and author of Architects of Disaster, Pete Hoekstra. Gentlemen, we got a lot to talk about, and let's get right to it. Fred, I'm going to talk to you about this first regarding the 50 top GOP national security officials. People in there such as John Negroponte, Michael Hayden, Michael Chertoff, Tom Ridge. They would call him the most reckless president in American history. What's your take when you see that level of names get involved and put their name to a document as hard slammed as this?
I think this was something gemmed up by the Clinton organization. Keep in mind, there were not 50 top national security experts. There were about 5. The other 45 were lower and mid-level people that no one's ever heard of. I know some of these people. They're good people. I think they're wrong. They should be focusing on how Hillary Clinton is unfit to be president. And I'll tell you something else. These people are claiming that Donald Trump doesn't take advice. False. I know many good national security experts who are advising Mr. Trump. I might add that I'm not one of them. And I know he's taking their advice, and I think these people may be frustrated that he's not talking to them.
Pete, you probably know a lot of these people as well. Matter of fact, I would be willing to guess that you probably know most of them. What's your take? And not only that, what's your response to them? A lot of them probably are friends.
A number of them are friends. I do know the people that Fred mentioned. I know them personally. I've worked with them. I've got a lot of respect for him. But like Fred, I think they're absolutely wrong. This is a binary choice. It's either Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. We know what Hillary Clinton has done. She got into bed with the Muslim Brotherhood and created disaster throughout the Middle East. She got in bed with the people who want to destroy America. She created this gap between us and our long-term allies. Israel, Mubarak, Gaddafi, the reset with Putin was a disaster. We know what her track record is, and we know what Donald Trump, we have an idea what he's going to do. This is a very thoughtful guy. He's going to consult with people, and he's going to develop policies, yes, that do put America first and are going to confront the threats that we face, whether they are on trade or whether they are on national security. Yeah, he may be a little bit of a bully sometimes, but the American people, I think, are starting to recognize maybe it's time that we got somebody who's a little bit of a bully on the national and international scene who is fighting to put America and Americans first each and every day.
Let's talk about that for a minute. Fred, I'm going to hook right off of what Pete said here just a moment ago, where he talked about, and I think I got him right, where he said America might just need a bully right now when it comes to the national and the international stage. Do you agree with that?
I do, and I'll tell you that this turbo Iran deal is an example of the fact that our enemies don't fear us. They have no respect for us. Look at this reset with Russia that Hillary Clinton negotiated. It's a complete joke. Could our relations with Russia be any worse? They have deteriorated so badly since her farcical attempt to make an agreement with the Russian government. And if she comes in, it's just simply going to be more of the same. ISIS will grow stronger, Iran will get a nuclear weapon, and Russia's influence will grow much greater at our expense.
Pete, what about the statement that Donald Trump made where he said we will have nothing left? He continues to talk about that if we don't change things the way they are, that we will have nothing left. What about those people who say that nothing left of America is strictly hyperbolic?
It's not. Take a look at what's going on in Europe. I just completed an op-ed on this that was published. Europe is losing everything. They are in chaos. They're losing their identity. Personally, I believe America is worth fighting for. Our values are worth fighting for. We need to stand behind them. We are the shining city on the hill. We are imperfect, but the values and what we stand for are worth fighting for, and they are under threat. Just take a look at what's going on in Europe. They've lost their identity, and if we don't respond and fight for American values, in 10 or 15 years, we will start looking like Europe, and we need to recognize we need to defend who we are and what we stand for every day, because once you stop, other people will take advantage of it.
1-877 Newsmax. Here's Duran from Lafayette, Louisiana, who believes that all of these security experts are traitors for not backing Donald Trump. 30 seconds, Duran. Explain yourself.
Absolutely. I think they're traitors, because if that's the fact that they're saying that he's the most reckless and will be the most reckless, how could they stand there and be advisors when they saw the Middle East in fires, engulfed in these, it's in turmoil everywhere. Everywhere she's touched, I agree with both of you, your guests. This is a turning point for the state, for the American values. If we do not elect Trump, I think we will go down the road of socialism.
Okay, we appreciate your call. Fred, let me get to a column that you wrote recently in Town Hall. Should the execution of the Iranian nuclear scientist disqualify Hillary Clinton to be our next president? Explain, please.
Well, we know that very sensitive intelligence on this Iranian nuclear scientist was discussed in Hillary Clinton's emails. And as Chairman Hoekstra will tell you, the identity of an intelligence source is among the most sensitive type of information in the U.S. government. The fact that this was being cavalierly discussed in an email, I think, is of great concern. And we know a lot of very sensitive information like this was discussed. We don't know whether that disclosure resulted in the execution of this guy, but we have to assume it's possible. And I'm worried other U.S. sources may have been killed and other sensitive U.S. intelligence may have been compromised because of Hillary's carelessness. It's why she's not qualified to be president.
Is it fair to say, though, that we do not know if the emails and the information on it did absolutely lead to his execution? Let's be fair.
That's right. We may never know exactly, but we do know an unprecedented discussion of a sensitive source in Iran actually was discussed by Hillary Clinton's advisors and sent to her email. I got to tell you, I've never seen that happen in my 25 years in government.
Let's, Pete, then turn to one other issue here. Now, go ahead, Pete. You had something to add, please.
I was going to say, you need to add one other thing. We don't know all of the emails that the Iranians have. The only ones that we have are the ones that the FBI and the State Department turned over. It's the Russians, the Iranians, the Chinese, the Israelis, WikiLeaks. They probably have another 30 to 40,000 of her emails that we don't even know what's in the content that they will perhaps leverage now or leverage sometime in the future.
Let me get your comment then on this, Pete, very quickly. About 45 seconds we have left. This idea that the parents of the Benghazi individuals there, the people who died at Benghazi, are suing Hillary Clinton. Do you really think anything will come of this, and is this a smart move?
I'm not sure it's a smart move, but I understand their frustrations. They're suing because of the recklessness of the emails. I think a more viable approach would be asking and getting an answer to this question. Hillary, who did we arm, train, and equip in Libya to overthrow Gaddafi? which of those individuals and which of those groups attacked our mission in Benghazi on that fateful night, and what else did they do? I think if you got the answers to those questions, those families, they wouldn't like the answers, but they would finally get some closure.
And that is indeed what everybody is looking for. I got a feeling that we're going to be right back here talking about these stories here in the next several weeks, next several months actually, because the effort to tell the truth and find out the truth still goes on. Fred Fleitz, Pete Hoekstra, gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate your time. While I have a moment, I want to remind everybody, our DirecTV viewers, don't forget that we are moving. We are going to channel 366 effective the end of this week. Make sure you go there now, because Newsmax TV, all of our programs, this program, all the rest, 24 hours a day, is being seen right now on channel 366. That is JLTV on DirecTV channel 366. Tune the channel. Go there right now. Make sure that you get us. Stay with us, because we're back right here with another poll issue on the Hardline.